Well, welcome. Thanks everyone for being here. I think I recognize most of the names on the list, but if anyone doesn't know me, my name's Barry Cranford. I'm the founder of the Fractional consultant community. So we've run this community for just over a year now, and we've had new members joining almost every day, with just over 1,000 people. So we get a steady stream of new people joining. Most people that join have questions around how to get started as a fractional, and most importantly, how to find work. A lot of those conversations end up with this sales and marketing and customer acquisition discussion. And so I find myself constantly interested in anyone that's doing that kind of work, or anyone that's got opinions or experience or insights in that kind of work. I was introduced to Mike recently through a mutual friend, and we had a great chat. Not just because he's an Arsenal fan, which is awesome, main thing there. But he showed me this product, and it wasn't really, it was just a general interest introduction, but he showed me this product that he's been working on, and it was like fascinating. I found myself asking loads and loads of questions about it. We went through a quick demo of what it could do, and then that led on to a discussion about data, and Mike picked me up a bit on the fact that we don't use data enough. And so we ended up in this chat, and I was just like, look, man, I need to bring you back in and keep going, keep this conversation going, but with some fractionals, so that a lot of people can benefit from these questions. So Mike, I wonder if you could just start by giving a sort of 3 or 4 minute overview of yourself, your background into this, what you've done here.
Well, look, first of all, Barry, thank you very much for the opportunity to meet everyone, and thank you everyone for saying yes. Yes, for coming today. Yes, for coming to share this experience with each other. I love the power of yes and the power of possibilities. And I know it's a very busy time for folks. So I'm delighted that we get to share this moment together. So a little bit just about my background and where I'll pivot into maybe some of the stuff that John and Alex and Corey talked about. So I started in 1988 as an engineer, a software engineer. I've worked principally in financial technology for 35 years, building, investing in tech. I worked in Asia, I worked in the US, I worked in the VC side of that business. I ran an emerging technology unit at Deutsche Bank. So it was our kind of job in the world to go out and look at technology as a competitive advantage for our sales and marketing teams in the global markets business. I then started my first startup in 2008. Called Data.tv, and we're an award-winning agency dedicated to launching technology companies into the market. So we would get those companies investor ready, so how to go tell the story to investors and help them from C through to Series A, B, C. How to get them revenue ready, so how to get their positioning correct for the market, to understand sales funnels and growth and positioning. And these sales are all, low volume, high value, high touch selling, entry point, a couple of $100,000 up to several $1 million. In that journey, we had a lot of success. We launched a couple of unicorns and launched a whole bunch of great startups, and a really great journey. But on that journey, I saw a significant challenge and problem, which was the publishing, sharing, and tracking of content. And so when my 50th birthday present to myself was 5 years ago, as it was my second startup, I'm back to my first love of engineering, and we started building our product, Zingly. And Zingly addresses this challenge as B2B. So we've been building the product for the last 3-4 years. We started making it commercially available last May. We've got some pretty amazing enterprise clients who use our product each day, using our product to sell their software into banks and financial services and consultancy firms. And I'll talk a little bit about that today as well. But Zingly addresses a particular challenge, and it brings together 3 things that we looked at: consumer technology. It's a B2B Pinterest meets a white label Netflix with an AI analytics engine. So if you think of Pinterest, you think of Netflix, and you think of AI analytics, we bring those 3 worlds together. And why is that important? It's important because we help people grow. We help people either, for marketing folk, have better top funnel acquisition for their marketing. For sales folk, we help people, nurture sales through complex sales cycles. And then for the businesses, we track everything in analytics. So I would be delighted to take any question from anyone about engineering, fintech, technology, marketing, sales, VC, you can take it any direction you want. I would be delighted to answer any questions. If you look me up on LinkedIn, I come here and share the screen here. This is me here, which I do actually look remarkably like my profile picture as well. So if you look me up on LinkedIn and connect with me there, we can connect. I'll be delighted to share any of my experience over my 35 years working in technology.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. So Pinterest, Netflix, AI analytics. Do me a favor. Can you start? I think it's going to give great context to everyone here to understand. This is kind of what happened before. I was talking to Mike about what he was doing. I was like, right, show me what it is, show me what the product does, and then we'll almost use that as a launch pad to start talking about your thoughts on data and especially from a fractionals perspective, how they can use it and things. So yeah, can you give us a demo on how it works?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick demo to let you know. So there'll be lots of questions about CRM and websites and stuff. So we fully integrate with Salesforce, HubSpot, SalesLoft, HighSpot, Zoho, Leadfeeder, all of that work we're partners with. So, but I think seeing is kind of the best way to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some client instances. But before I begin there, has anyone ever sent a PDF attachment to a client and wondered if they've opened it? Has anyone ever sent a PDF attachment to a client and wondered if they forwarded it to someone else? Has anyone ever hit any firewall issues or sent any content anywhere? Has anyone ever looked up a YouTube video that you want to send to a client on a webinar, but the webinar is an hour long, but you only want to send a bit that's at 25 minutes and it's really frustrating? I don't know if anyone's experienced those problems. But they're problems day to day that we solve for our clients. So what I'll do is I'll show you the end result. So this is Baton Systems. They're a super interesting company. They work in post-trade solutions in DLT. This is their version of our product. So this is their Netflix of all of their content. But it's not just video. It handles PDFs and podcasts and you name it. We handle every type of media list and link. And I'll just show you. So they're kind of interesting. If you make a note of resources.batonsystems.com to explore some of their content. Again, they're very low volume, high value sales into folks like Wells Fargo, UBS, Citibank, HSBC. So that's their target audience they're selling to. This here is Next Wave Consulting. They're super interesting folks. Well, I see that's their Netflix version. That's their hub, their branded hub with all of their content in here. If you've got a smartphone with a QR code reader, whip it out now, because this is an interactive demo. If you scan that QR code, that will take you to this hub that is Phil Sturmer at NextWave and how he represents the Quantexa AI consultancy firm or the solutions firm. So that's now on your phone. It's been tracked. It might have asked you to accept a cookie. You'll have to say accept all to the cookie. It opens up and it looks like a mobile app. So again, that's how our solution powers all this stuff. So that's the kind of world we live in. We live in a world that, and I apologize if some of the terminology you might use, like, we live in a multi-channel world. So how we move visitors from LinkedIn to websites to events to email channels, how we can track all that activity and make it super easy with a no-code tooling. So what I thought might be nice, at the heart of our product is our catalog. Actually, I'll dive in here. So this is just my demo version here. We have a catalog that sits at the heart of our product. And the catalog here, we can take any content from across the internet and drop it in. So I thought maybe what I'll do is I'll show you an example of an AI webinar. Everyone up for that? Don't all shout at once. Okay. So we're going to YouTube here. We'd all be very familiar with the challenge of an AI webinar. So if I go Edmund AI webinar, IBM, this is a fantastic piece of content here on generative AI. It's but it's 34 minutes long, 19, 20 minutes long. But the bit I'm interested in is this piece here. I'm interested in this piece at 11 minutes and 9 seconds. So I right click, I copy video at the URL time. I come into my catalog. I say what I'd like to do is I'd like to add that to my catalog. I drop it in. It takes it to that exact point of interest on that video. I then add that to my I'll add that to my catalog. That is now ready to go into play. I now say, hang on, I want to play this video now. So I'll show you that this kind of works. That's that video there. Now, if everyone scans that QR code, that will take you directly to that video that I just added to the catalog. Yeah, so everyone got to see it's only be interactive. So so I've just showed you how we can find a piece of content, pin it to a catalog, and then play it in a player that you can then share and kind of broadcast to folk. And we do lots of very, very clever stuff with that, and curating private playlists for folk and hubs and account-based marketing, all that stuff. But so we live in the world of making it super easy to take content from anywhere across the internet or anywhere across internally in your firewalls. Are you all familiar with SharePoint? It's a real drag, you know. So we've got Microsoft integration apps that you can kind of take any SharePoint file and share it with anyone, all the visibility rules, and share them in playlists. So let me show you how we'd make this into a kind of cool playlist for everyone now. So if I come in here and say, I want to create I'll do one more thing to show you because it'll help. Zingly. Has anyone ever used Spotify? We like sending playlists of stuff to people, right? Has anyone ever sent a PDF and a demo and a fact sheet and a webinar to a target or to a client or received it? They're tricky things to send, yeah? So we call them Zinglists, and I'm going to create a Zinglist for you now, which is going to be for my briefing for fractionals. And in the Zinglist, I'm also going to include some neat things about analytics, yeah? So briefing for fractionals. Fractionals, is that right? I'm very dyslexic. Have I spelled that right? So let me, I'm also on two screens, right? So this is our playlist of content. I'm now going to add content to this playlist. I'm going to add to you guys some kind of cool stuff that are use case stuff. So maybe some stuff that is, I think you like partnerships, sales, probably account-based marketing as well. So I wanted to show you how easy it is to add stuff to the catalog. I'll probably want to maybe add some stuff in here about blogs or kind of even about analytics. So let me do it's easier. So you got some stuff because you guys are focused mainly on the analytics side. So let me add some stuff about Microsoft builders and Gen AI and analytics, all that kind of good stuff. And is your data misleading, right? So you got a whole really interesting bunch of stuff here now, right? So I've got a whole bunch of interesting stuff that I want to do things with or send to someone. So we live in a hyper-personalized world. Have you ever received those emails? Would you like to increase your sales funnel? I'll tell you how to do it. And you get these spam emails, and they're an absolute nightmare. And so we want to help folk cut through that noise. So let's record a personalized video. Record a video like this. It comes in. I'll pick my fancy pants microphone as well, because you're fancy pants people, I can see now. So recording a video is pretty easy. Hey guys, and welcome to Michael. Welcome to Zingly. I'm doing a step-by-step demo through here of Zingly, so you can get an idea of how we handle content and publish and share content across different channels, and how easy it is to upload content and how easy it is to share it. Why is that important? Well, the key to all of this stuff is the data. That's the reason why we're doing all of these kind of gating ways of moving people through content, is to get their data, which in a minute. So that's me talking. That's a video greeting. And I'm going to drop this over to you now, really greeting to a curated playlist of content. So I now have the ability to share that in very specific ways, publicly, privately. I can do kind of lots of fancy pants things with that. What I'm going to do is share this with you privately through my own sales page. So I want to send this privately. Now I'm going to send it to a personalized sales page. Now, I have a little widget here that talks about if I want to send this as a encrypted piece of HTML for tracking. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute when I show you this here. Right. So can everyone see my page? Right. Scan that QR code. And then bookmark that QR code. because that here is going to be all of some of the supporting material for today's session. So you all got it in your mobile phones. It also looks like a little business card. You'll see a little picture of me, my LinkedIn profile, and kind of all this amazing material here. So, oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Go back to this. Okay. Briefing for fractionals. He says, perfect. There we go. Right. Okay. So you can have a little explore around here, the material, and there's lots of explainer videos and blogs and kind of cool stuff there to have a look at it at your leisure. Just kind of look at that. Okay. But I guess what I wanted to show you here was the examples, how easy it was to go out and curate and to target content and to send it directly to people in their inbox, like a little bit of magic in your inbox when you open it up. I've also just sent you a completely secure encrypted video and you didn't bat an eyelid, right? So and that works with all the bank's firewalls. So I wanted to kind of lay out the kind of ground piece here before we kind of dive headfirst into the importance of analytics and data, because everything I've showed you here today, and for our clients like Baton or EXL or Galileo or NextWave, the folk who use us, so they're using our stuff for data. Everything I've showed you here about engagement is all to track lead engagement and buyer intent and to move them through the funnel to successfully close a deal or a transaction. And the thing that informs that decisioning is the data. So before I start going headlong into numbers and data, has everyone done the little kind of whistle-stop tour of Zingly and how that works? Any questions about any of that stuff before I dive into it? We're all good? My God, I'm not a sales guy, I'm an engineer. So just so my colleagues will be, I can see there's some chat and some questions coming out. Thank you, Andy. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do is we're all, I don't know, people may be familiar with Salesforce and the HubSpot and underlying CRM systems. We work with all of them. I want to talk about the importance of data for our clients. It's going to take about 5 minutes and it's going to show you some kind of cool, funky stuff. I think there was some stuff here about funnel and pipeline acquisition. There was some stuff about signals. There was some stuff about data analytics and tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the world that our clients live in and that you guys live in. Now, you guys are fractionals. You want to win business, right? So can everyone see my screen okay here? So this here is the smarts on where funnel acquisition and funnel management work in inside sales today. Now, this is actually a slide belonging to one of our clients that wrote about us. So, but I've masked who that client is. But what I loved when I got it is that Zingly was right beside the dollar side. I thought, that's good. That's where you want to be, right? And then Zingly on the second side here was right beside the thing that said urgent. Okay, so again, that's where I wanted to be. But I think, if I talk about you folk out here who are maybe looking to acquire customers, or you're thinking about how do I manage a funnel? How do I manage myself? And you probably have a workflow today that's involved with a contact database, you're on LinkedIn, you're looking up previous engagements, maybe looking for word of mouth, people selling to a black book of people that they know. So this is all of that, but a little bit more industrialized, right? So at the very top of this funnel is the really dirty world of LinkedIn and Zoom info and that stuff, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with, LinkedIn Navigator. It's really difficult because at that stuff there, acquiring leads there is super hard to figure out at that point or point of interest, but super great at getting out the top of funnel in. That's where these folk live. Either by databases you might buy with Zoom info, or folk you might get through leads acquired through LinkedIn. Has anyone on the call here ever reached out to someone on LinkedIn to connect with them and then to maybe, and in your part of your professional network, you then want to maybe share with them your experiences and services that maybe they might be interested in acquiring or buying? Our client here, there's a difference between HubSpot and Salesforce. So though both are CRMs, HubSpot tends to be supporting marketing folk. Salesforce tends to support sales folk. We work with both, and we built our product because we knew the weaknesses and white space that lived between both of them. So we don't displace Salesforce or HubSpot. We complement both of them, but we operate in a space between Salesforce and HubSpot. And that's a really interesting space to operate in: new logo acquisition and account-based marketing, and some of the tools that I showed you. None of what I've showed you, HubSpot or Salesforce can do. So they can't list and link content. They can't personalize their content. They can't send it to someone. That's why we designed our product to complement this stuff. So that's where we sit. This funnel here, obviously in your own acquisition here, which was talking about funnel and pipeline, you want to move folk through it. You know, I want to move folk from my top of funnel right down to closing a deal and closing a prospect and contacting them and getting the deal over the line. How do I get them to here? How can I get them to the money? So here is an example of the workflow around that, generating a lead in HubSpot through automation. You signing up to this webinar today gave a signal to Barry that you're interested in this world. So Barry has a signal that you've gone to a website or you've done a sign up to join a webinar. So there are great signals around, okay, these folk are interested in analytics and data. Secondly, then, you know, if you move from being an MQL, a marketing qualified lead, to sales folk will say, hang on, maybe I can go in there and sell to Corey or to Andy or to John and these folk. Maybe they want to have a look at our data analytics tools. So maybe that's something you're going to pass over to one of our inside sales team to maybe set up a demo or set up a follow-up consultancy call. And that's where Zingly comes in. Zingly use what I've just showed you, those little personalized lists of sending tailored content to that target to track their engagement on. Now, again, everything I've showed you here, sorry, I have to, apologies, come down here. Everything I showed you was online in that briefing that I sent you. I'll add this workflow to that briefing I sent you as well. So how we track all this stuff. Again, any questions so far? Any questions about funnels or Salesforce or HubSpot and AI stuff work? My God, I am knocking it out of the park. Okay, so analytics. Now, surprise, surprise, we call analytics Zinglytics. We love data. So this is how we look at the world, and we look at the world in a very specific workflow. So this data is going to be a bit noisy. It's our demo data, but it's the stuff that I live in too. So, you know, I use our tools to sell. So I'm going to show you some real life examples of tracking engagement with people. You know, how do you know you might nurture a target? And what I'm going to do is show you a recent client. I'm going to show you the journey that we've had with this client. We've had a journey over 4 months, and I'm delighted to say that the client is now a customer of ours. It's University College Dublin Smurfit Business School. So, but I can show you Patrick's example to our data of the journey he's been on with Zingly through closing a contract, and it might be interesting to folk. For our technical friends among us, we use Google BigQuery and Looker Studio. We also export all this stuff out into export files, CSV files, if folk want to set them to Tableau or their own data visualization engines. We like Google, our clients like Google BigQuery, they like Looker Studio. These are our dashboards we create here, you know, an overview of what's happening, the top 5 interactions, you know, it's all, you know, very easy to use sets of tools, top known visitors, top unknown visitors. I'm going to talk a little bit about Campaign Manager, because I think this is kind of super interesting of how we integrate with HubSpot, if that's interesting to folk. So Campaign Manager is where we really dig into the importance of engagement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at our data in here. So we have friendly, I call it friendly fire. We've got internal traffic that I want to nullify. So I want to strip out folk from my organization for the data. I then have a ton of stuff here like that. Okay, in my dashboards here, I want to be able to only look at my strategic accounts. Now, in this dashboard I'm showing you here, this tracks last engagement and last activity engagement integrated with HubSpot. So this is showing me what's going on with certain accounts and if they're engaging with my content. So I can see I sent an email to Tom Hutchings. I sent him an email on he wasn't tracked to an email, was forwarded to him on the 27th of March, and he's looked at a particular piece of content, and I'm able to go in here and it'll show me the content that Tom looked at. And Tom looked at a particular personal video that I wrote about welcome to lead trackers. So I'm able to say at quite a granular detail the activity that particular targets are having with my emails being forwarded to them, stuff that they're looking in data. I can even go a bit further down here and say, okay, you know, Patrick Murray's a kind of interesting guy to me. What's he been looking at? Okay. And it'll tell me all the assets that Patrick was looking at and how he interacted with stuff. Okay, so I looked at analytics, welcome to Zingly, EXL and LinkedIn. Okay, let me look at that over a longer period of time. So let me look at that from the beginning of December. And so it goes away and says, just give it a minute. It's doing a bit of work. And it's coming back here. And what it's showing me that he'd had 12 sessions and he generated 41 media interactions over that period of time. And it's showing me everything that he looked at. It's showing me the individual content item he looked at, the catalog item, but it's also showing me here all of his media interactions and dwell time. So I'm able to see that Patrick Murray is a highly engaged visitor to our business. He's been visiting since the 4th of December. I'm watching all of his dwell times. I can see here on the 22nd of February, his dwell time was massive. He'd been coming back again and again, looking at different content. So, and he's looking at the same asset, this Power of One, which is our overview video. Yep. So clearly there was something super engaged with Patrick on that asset here, this 2-minute explainer video. But I'm able to track all of this engagement with Patrick on his journey, so who he's engaging with, who he's not engaging with. So it's an extremely powerful way for us to explore. I'll just turn Patrick off. So great stuff. So we can see when it works. Okay, this is great. Okay, what happens when it doesn't work? So I notice up here, then here, if I come back here, last activity. So this is me sending out my emails and stuff, but I can see here for some folk here that they haven't connected or they haven't opened, like Dan here, null engagement and null interactions. So I know, and if I go over to Dan at Money Up here, if I go over and look at his analytics here, I can see what he's connecting, what he's not connecting to, because we have it wired in downstream to HubSpot. So more than simply email opens, I'm able to drill right in to see what type of interactions that they are working on and how they're performing. I can even perform searches in here. So why is that important? Well, it's important because it gives us the ability to interrogate data at a very granular level for engagement. So I'm able to come back here and say, okay, that's great. Let me have a look at my catalog here. I want to know, is my PDFs perform better than my videos, perform better than my my media type. So, let me look at this over the last 90 days here. Q1, and what I want to do here is saying we 296 visitors. Okay, that's super interesting. But what I'm interested in here, and if anyone has ever put together data to know how hard it is, difficult to do this, but say if I wanted to look at PDFs, podcasts, YouTube videos together in one kind of snap, it's a very difficult to get your hands on that data. We're able to do that in a click. So I'm able to say, here's how all that media performed. Well, I say, well, look, I'm only interested in things that happen from an email, things happen from LinkedIn, things happen from a HubSpot email. Yes, newsletters. Okay, we had 80 visitors. Okay, I'm only interested in the US, Ireland, and the UK. So with 67 visitors, great stuff. Okay, I can come back down here, then I can say, right, I'm only interested in no nulls, no ditto, no Zingly. Who of my clients did this? And in here, it's showing me all of the client interactions across that content, where they came from, who they were, how they did it, when they did it, when did they land. I can look at Sam in particular here and then drill into that. So having that level of ability of watching which content's working, which content isn't working, and engaging with who. So that's the incredible power of having these type of analytical tools. So just to kind of cap off, what is it? We understand the importance of marketing content and material, but 70% of all marketing content has zero ROI. 60% of all marketing content created isn't used by sales teams. So we know if we can get that marketing content used in a really great way in people's workflow and campaigns, that will get them engaged, that we can then track it in the data. And then the data will tell us buyer intent, lead engagement, and move people through the funnel from prospect, suspect, into buyers and high-fiving each other. So I've kept that to 30 minutes. I'm conscious of time, which was quite a lot of stuff that we covered on the platform, the usage and the analytics. Barry, I'm going to take a pause for breath here and just open back to you as the chair and moderator. Is there anything particularly you'd like me to go over again, or I'm happy to take any questions there?
Yeah, man, no, that was interesting. I think that went even deeper than we did before, and just kind of shows how much you can get from this. And I think it's important to see the degree that you can get this data, so that we can then start building on the conversation from here and figuring out, okay, so what do we learn from that? So let's start at the very beginning, right? And then we'll sort of build back up to when we're pitching to massive companies. But let's say that you are a fractional that's just started, joined this call, just starting on the journey, and wants to know, how do I build a sales pipeline, sales marketing pipeline? Where do I start? Like, you've obviously looking at this with Zingly and some of the people that you're working with. You're working with people with the HubSpot, with Salesforce, with an inside sales team, and very advanced in that way. But how do we take everything that you've learned both before Zingly, and I imagine a lot more since, on seeing the data and how different people do it, to start thinking about how to build a proper marketing and sales funnel?
Yeah, lovely. So can I ask anyone on the call who is involved in the origination of sales for their own business or practice? Is anyone involved in that? Oh, super. And I don't know how many on the call are doing that. Not everyone has their camera on. So, and the techniques you have to try and do that, either on behalf of your business or behalf of you as an individual, how many people use content marketing to do that? Yeah, videos, white papers, webinars, podcasts, how many people, and then you're publishing that across, maybe on a WordPress website with a form gate that people got to complete a form. Then you'll pass it across to your sales team to do a follow-up and lead on that piece. So these are tried and trusted methods of engaging with folk, but they're a bit tired. The data is difficult. The format's hard. It's hard to share the content afterwards. It's hard to we all come to events like today. I would say the most important thing about this event today is what we're going to do with the content tomorrow. So the follow-up, the execution. And I don't know how many people have been to a trade show, and the trade show was great, but the next day you got a bunch of scruffy business cards in your hand saying, Genie Mac, where do we begin with this? How do I take this into pieces? So that's the world that we live in. We help folk harness those nuggets of data and nuggets of connectivity and put them in an orderly way that they can then prioritize into outreach campaigns.
Awesome. So let's say that exact is a great example, right? So we've been to a trade show and we've got this big list of people, and obviously some of these shows are ridiculous. You come back with this huge list of names, of numbers, and where do you go from there? What do you do? What would you recommend in terms of a starting point with content or events, or how do you go from this big list of business cards to that funnel, and what we're tracking within it?
How many folk don't have a CRM system or a contact database, or how many people are running that off spreadsheets? So I'm so I can kind of judge the audience, right? So it's a kind of mixture, right? So I would really encourage you to invest in a professional CRM platform. I would encourage you to invest probably in the starter pack of HubSpot. If you're in kind of hunter-gatherer mode, it's like $35 a month for a starter pack. You get a ton of great functionality, super product, super easy to use. You won't use all of the functions, but at least it's going to get you into in a way that you'll get your contacts organized, and you'll have some place to go that you can then feed into other digital presence. How many folk on the call have their own websites? Okay, yeah. So, websites are a nightmare. The minute you make them, they're old. And they're very difficult to your people build a website. They're going to be great. It's going to be a destination. People are going to go there and fill out forms and be wonderful stuff. And it's the reality is much more difficult than that. If I was to show you, let me show you here actually. I'm going to have to share screen again here if you don't mind. Apologies. So apologies if I took down for it. I'll be back in a minute. I wanted to show you something super cool. So he says here, the reason why I've got it on two screens is that I wanted it to be ultra professional, but I realized all I've seen is a picture of my chest. So can everyone see my screen here? Barry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email, and I'm going to send you an email of that you can then, I'll open up my email client, that you can then share with the folks here, right? When I send it to you, you can share screen, right? So this is Barry, who is our wonderful host today. So if I come back to Barry, and I wanted to send Barry that Zing list that I just created a moment ago, which was the briefing for fractionals. So I can come in here, I can say, I want to send it to Barry, but I'm going to send it in a kind of sneaky way. I'm going to send it in a way that I can track Barry. Are you in there? Oh, no, it doesn't matter. So if I can send it to him, this way, and say, right, let me copy that to my clipboard. So when I come over here, I can say, hello, Barry. I can see my email client. Okay, yeah? Yeah? Great. Dyslexic, great to meet you. Here's that briefing. And we drop it in like a playlist. So that's the video greeting, that's the links to use cases, that's the interactive gifts and the video, that's all the playlists, a ton of stuff I'm sending to Barry right now. So when I email that to Barry, I send that through normal corporate email. Barry, let me know when you receive that, there. And then if you can share screen, Barry, and show folk what you receive your side there. So while Barry is doing that, how many times has anyone sent a PDF to someone with a typo? How many times has anyone sent a PDF to someone that says, oh no, there's a newer version to that, or a newer version of the fact sheet? So we don't store the content. You send a link. So when you update the underlying asset, it updates to everybody. Barry, hopefully you received that email.
Not yet, but that's down to my servers. I know we did this before. They're useless. But I'm sure it will come through soon.
It'll come through soon. So when Barry gets it, he'll show you what it looks like for Barry's his experience. But it's like a little bit of, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
So if you share screen with folk, he'll show you what he receives his side. We call it a little bit of magic in an email. So beautiful. Look at that. So rather than simply sending attachments and follow-up, so if you click on video greeting and press play in the video, so straight away you've got immediacy, you're cutting through the noise. 46% of emails are open first on a mobile phone. What catches people like pictures. So this is a really great way of standing out, so we love corporate email channels, and we work with all the bank's firewalls to make that happen and work. So to answer your question, Barry, what would you do when you come back to develop all those kind of cards? You need to follow up with them. You need to figure out, you need to get them into your CRM, into a HubSpot. I would recommend, not that I'm a HubSpot sales guy, but it's the cheapest price point for maximum functionality, we think. We think they're super to work with. Nearly all of our clients use HubSpot and sales. We've got one client on Zoho, another one on a very old platform called Goldmine, but they're nearly all HubSpot and Salesforce. So, I think it's like $35 a month or something. It's cheapest chips for the starter pack. And I know times are tough with spending money and stuff, but I would say, you wouldn't run your business without the internet, without electricity. So I would say put your CRM platform in the same, and your data in the same bracket as that. Learn how to use it and use it well, because it's going to serve you very, very well. And then to answer your question, Barry, you've got all those contacts. You want to follow up with stuff, and you want to stand out. You want to be able to reach these people. You want to be able to engage with them. They aren't just going to come to your website. It's just not going to be that interesting enough, and it's going to be very difficult. So you want to kind of get into their channel, and you want to try and connect with them, and you want to measure that connection. It's high touch, and you want to do it in a very personalized way. So hopefully I've answered that question, Barry, of how you would follow up after an event.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's perfect. Okay, so now we've built HubSpot. We've got all our 200 business cards. We've got them all in the CRM. We're starting to build this approach, and maybe we've got a few assets out there that we're sending. What are we looking for? What kind of signals are you looking for at that point? And maybe going back into Zingly, using some examples and just using it to capture that data and be like,
yeah, 100%. I mean, the very first thing, just to lean back, is how many people run their business on hope? I've been terrible at it, and it's a really tricky thing to run your business on, because you think you got the best lead, you think you've invested the most time, they've given you all the signals, but they'll let you down at the last second. There's been a change of management, or a change of strategy, your budget's gone, or they just won't return your emails or won't return your calls. It's happened to anyone involved in selling. No one has 100% conversion rate. Conversion rate is low. Yeah. So what this is going to give you insights to behavior to remove some of that hope and guesswork. That you can look through the data and say, look, are they even opening my emails? Are they even coming through and looking at my content? If I'm sending someone a personal video message and they're still not responding to me, they're not going to buy from you. Or if they are, they're wrong. What you're doing is wasting your time, and time is the most valuable resource, because you can't recycle it. When it's gone, it's gone. So imagine having the ability of having the hard facts to say, what, maybe they're not going to buy from me. I got to really move on elsewhere now. And I have personally a 3 strikes and out piece. And I call them my dead list, and I put people on my dead list. And even though the people on my dead list were all my hottest prospects once, but very quickly I cycle these dead list, because otherwise I'm running on hope. And what I want to do is I want to find a match, so I want to find someone so you get one time to introduce yourself for the first time, make it really count, make it stick, so our clients, and we use Zingly to do that because it works for our clients on our channel, video, nice assets. You don't need many assets to go a long way. If actually a video, webinar, podcast, you can get a lot of legs out of that. Personalized video message. So that would be the first thing. Don't run on hope. Be optimistic, but I'm sure if anyone's involved in selling or business development here, you must have had a crushing moment. Say, are they even opening the stuff, or why aren't they getting back to me? Or I really, really, really want this to work, but it's not happening. But guess what? Just sometimes that's not gonna happen. It's just, it gives you the ability to move on very quickly, be disciplined in that, to say 3 strikes out, dead list, next.
it's really interesting. Okay, and quite harsh figures, like 3 strikes and you're out. And
I don't done. So
I like it
because there's much better opportunity out there. You've got ships, I've got cargo, you've got cargo, I've got ships. That's what you want, yeah. So there's 3 things I want to share with you. Most people, your buyers aren't your users aren't your buyers, and you're going to meet loads of people that can't say yes but can say no. And that's constantly when you're out there as a fractional. The people buying your thing may or may not be your end user. The people who the user of your stuff may not be the buyer. They don't control the budget. And loads of people who are not empowered to say yes to you, but can say no. The noisy person in the meeting. Yeah. So using analytics and these tools helps you navigate to the decision maker. Yeah. And also in a very eye-catching way. You're not going to beat some of these bigger businesses for the cool content that they've got, or the volume, or the but you can make it look super cool with a personalized video and drop it into their email like that. And this looks great. And say, cool, book a meeting. I'll meet you for a coffee. Let's go. said, genius is smart. Yeah. Oh, that's what works for me anyway.
No, it's amazing. It's really interesting. So then if that's the dead list, if I understand this correctly, is if
Dead
people aren't,
list.
if they're not opening, if they're not engaging, if they're not doing anything, if they're null, dead list, right? So
Yeah.
how do you what triggers are you looking for at the other end where you're like, this is, we're onto something here. This person's ready to buy.
Yeah, highly engaged. They're the user, but not the buyer, but the one to pass me to the buyer quickly to get the budget approved. Our product's live in 24 hours, and also commercially, it's not very expensive. Commerce isn't a barrier to entry. If it does become a barrier to entry, then I want to move on quickly because we're like €1,000 a month platform entry price for our business. This is like cheapest chips, yeah. Edition. We make our business model is a SaaS model. So if they don't have decisioning over that size of spend, or they'll go through some big rigmarole, they're the wrong people. What they're doing is they're killing me getting opportunities elsewhere. So I move on super quick, and maybe they'll come back again. I don't tell them they're on the dead list, but I'll reach out to them again in a couple of months' time and say, hey, you weren't ready then. Also, it's really good to turn around and say to them, look, if you're not ready, just let me know. Nobody wants to be told no, right? No one likes saying bad news because we're all nice people, we're all nice with you, but it's okay. Look, if you don't want me, I'll move on. It's okay, brother. We'll catch up again. I gotta go. I have a board to report to. I've got numbers to go back to, so I can't faff about. I gotta run at pace. So you can go from the naughty list to the nice list. That has happened on occasion as well, Barry. But
Fantastic.
yes. So I hope don't run your business on hope on the data. Make the tough decisions. It's okay when people say no. Does anyone take rejection deeply personal? I don't know if anyone. I maybe because I'm an owner founder and I built this thing. I take it really, I really do. And I'm a very passionate person too. Maybe I shouldn't do. But we can't help when we've built a business or a practice not to take it personally. We're human, right? We all want to sell a good product and a good service. And when people don't see that, we go, what do you mean you can't see? This is the best thing ever. I'm going to do an amazing job for you. And like the rejection we feel can be really, kind of can hurt you, not just economically, but your confidence. Screw that. Don't worry about that at all. Move on. Sell to the people who want to buy your stuff because you're great people and you're going to knock it out of the park with somebody else. How many have felt delighted with a happy customer? How many people have felt delighted, adding value to their customer? How many people felt delighted when you close the deal and you issue the invoice and get paid? We want that. So go find that.
Awesome. Just going through some of the questions that we had in the chat here.
Pretty quick, actually, 50 minutes. He asked an Irishman to say something, you know what I mean?
Andrew Ford, what is your sweet spot for vertical sector and horizontal size of business? Actually, Andrew, are you there? Do you want to unmute? And I think there are a few questions there. I'll probably ask them. You might. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Andrew.
I was just interested in terms of what the track record have been so far, in targeting different verticals, but also, size of business, where you feel the sweet spot is. And also just in terms of, customer testimonials, what's the reaction been? Have they correlated that with, revenue uptick and other successes?
Yeah, so 3 great questions. So we work B2B. We've initially pivoted into our primary focus has been fintech, consultancy, and financial services. They're traditionally very difficult arenas to work with. Obviously, I'm from a fintech background, so that that I can lean into that experience and network. Our sweet spot it varies actually. We've got an offering for folk who are growth, so they can buy our platform with 1 or 2 sales or marketing licenses, right up to enterprise deals. We're delighted to say we work with Fortune 100 publicly listed companies right down to startups. So we've constructed our tiering and our pricing model to work that way. If you go to discover.zingly.com, so the thing that you scanned under your QR code, if you go to that website and go to content, you'll actually see a drop down that says testimonials and use cases. And we love testimonials and use cases. I'll share screen and show you folks. I'll QR code it to you. Hang on a sec. So you can see it all. Yeah. So
testimonials always bread and butter, particularly.
Yeah, 100%. I know. So can you see my screen here?
Yeah.
So if you come in here to solutions and use cases, we've got really great ones: Baton, Galileo, EXL, Millennium,
Yeah.
And so that's super important. If you if I go here and if people scan that QR code, you'll get that in your mobile now. The QR code's been it's a thing since QR codes are so the fashion till COVID, and then COVID happened. Every menu became a QR code, didn't it? So, but we love the old QR code. So, how many times have you tried to name a kind of URL to someone? And you're trying to //fact sheet, blah. So you do like every single bit of content's got a QR code. So hopefully, Andrew, that's
really helpful.
Yeah. So in terms of
it's a good platform.
Yeah, great. And in terms of success, our clients absolutely love it because it gives them a huge advantage. So it gives their sales team minimum 30% extra scale, minimum, so it's like, a third more salespeople uplift. For resources for marketing, what took weeks now takes minutes. Anyone ever built a microsite? Nightmare, take forever. We build them in 90 seconds, websites, but our no-code tooling, all the hubs. So marketing folk love us because of just speed.
That's good. No, thank you. It's really,
You're welcome. Total pleasure.
Great platform. Thank you.
Great questions, Andrew. I like Andrew Charlie. So it's like Charlie, like a code word.
Bit of extra personal branding, I suppose.
I like it. Yeah. I love it. Very good.
Mike, in your experience, either in the background through Zingly or through your clients, have you seen mistakes that people typically make when trying to capture data or work with it or not capture it? Or
can I be really candid? Let me answer a question. How many times on LinkedIn have you seen people publish a podcast or publish stuff and or publish a video just getting no eyeballs at this stuff at all? So I think one of the harshest things I see with clients is that they all want to do content marketing, they all do it, but it's not that they do the content badly, but they've missed the absolute ability to make it easy to consume, to make it easy to get to people to use it, to get it in their inbox or get their eyeballs to it. So I think the biggest mistake people make, Barry, is that they have got terrible website infrastructures and terrible way of, I haven't even showed your AI search engines, all the AI stuff that we've got. But so that's the biggest problem I find, is that because I've done something a certain way, to keep doing it a certain way. It's hard to make a room full of Democrats, Republicans, or a room full of Republicans, Democrats, right? So people do so they're used to doing a certain way. You present them a new thing and they go, what? Something, I can't know, but we've always done it this way as well. Things have changed. You got to bring your message to the channel, not the channel to your message. So,
gotcha. Okay, perfect. Andy's got a question in there. Andy, did you want to unmute and come on with that one?
Hey Barry. Hey Barry, thanks. Unmute if I can find the button. That's the main thing.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah, really good presentation. Thanks for that, Michael. I was interested to understand if your platform will look at, so in your CRM system, you've got groups of people and points of contact, phone, email, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. Can you monitor where those people are actually picking up your content? So those people that interact with your LinkedIn post but never open an email, they shouldn't go in the bin because they are following you, but they just don't like email.
100%. That's a really smart question. Yeah, we call that sources. And so if I come back and share a screen again, it's a really, really great question. So apologies if you see my chat, sorry. We call them sources. So if I go to Zinglytics again, and I pull back here, and I'll pull back like a 6-month view. So you got a kind of bit of data to have a look at. So let me pull back a few months here. This here is saying that over that period, oops, Genie Mac, sorry lads and ladies. Right, gotcha. So 367 visitors, and here it's telling me where they came from. So we got 66 came from LinkedIn. These came from direct email. This came from a share. 61 folk came from a QR code. You know, so 100%. And then we can go a bit further, mix and match these. What came from a Google search term, and then obviously what you want to say, well, what country did it come from? You know, okay, who just came from the UK only? And then we can drill right down to say, what did they look at? How did they look? How did they perform? What, you know, all this kind of great stuff that you're looking at here. So, yeah, we call that sources, Andy, and you're quite right. Then it gets super interesting because if you paid for like LinkedIn ads, you can keep them honest. I just paid per click on this. Is that telling to the paid per click I get back here on my content? We've got a minute to go. I feel like I've been like in an exam situation as well. Is it all good? Is everyone happy? It's like,
Mate, for me, it was fascinating.
You have to give up an hour of your time for this. So if you reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn, I'd be delighted to connect. Please ping me anytime, because I love talking about my business and I love talking about my client's business. So delighted. Barry's a great guy. You guys are cool cats. Whatever you guys need, we're all part of the network. We're all in it together, holding hands.
Great stuff, Mike. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all that. That's awesome. Really appreciate it.
One of these like questionnaires. How would you rate your presenter today? Joking.
No,
Right?
mate, honestly.
Plans for Easter?
You what? Sorry.
Anybody got any nice plans for Easter?
For me, it's just a few days off would be nice. It's been such a busy Q1, so yeah, it's always just to take a few days out.
Well, we're based just outside of Dublin, so if anyone's coming to Dublin or coming to Ireland at all, let me know. We're based in Dogpatch Labs in IFSC in the middle of the digital village in Dublin, so I'll be delighted to host you and show you around there anytime.
Top man. Mike, thank you so much. Everyone,
you're welcome. Thank you so much. Be well, be safe, everybody. And yeah, so data. That's it. Thank you very much, guys.
See you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you, everyone. Bye.